Welcome back to my channel, guys. It's me, Irvin, with another manga chapters review for you guys. It's going to be on multiple chapters of the Elusive Samurai. As promised, I'm trying my best to catch up to current chapters, so I'm going to be reviewing big chunks at a time. Here's another attempt of that, and this is going to be chapters 31 through 34. So bear with me. There is quite a bit of stories that are going on, ending of a section and the start of a new section. So here we go. So first, last up, we were seeing Tsukiyoki and his retainers fighting and defending with other soldiers, right? And this is where we left off. Now, before anything else, guys, if you have not done so by now, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Give some love by commenting, liking, and sharing. There is quite a bit of stuff that I'm posting for you guys this week. Hopefully by the end of this week, if not next week, I should be caught up with the Elusive Samurai. I do want to try my best to actually catch up, because I've been saying it for a while now and I never did, and it keeps releasing and it keeps getting away from me. So this week is the week. I know, I feel it. So make sure you subscribe and give some love. So again, Tsukiyoki and his retainers were left off in the last chapter, and essentially they were already mid-battle with this group of people that essentially they're allies. They don't want them to die. They had this mentality of dying, and they finally convinced them not to. They're doing well, and they killed one of the leaders already, and they're going for the head of the main leader. Now, I think it's Fubuki. No, it's not Fubuki, sorry. It is Genba, who is actually able to reach the leader, and he decides that he doesn't want to kill him. Now, this is actually a very strategic move from him, and now that I'm thinking about it, it's not even Genba, it is Kojiro, actually. Where is it Fubuki? It's one of the retainers, but he decides not to kill him, and the reason they do that is because he strategizes and things. It's better to have a lousy, not so great leader in the enemy side than for us to play our chances and maybe end up with someone who is maybe stronger, maybe smarter, and more of a threat to, you know, to them in total. So he decides to leave him live and just kind of scare him, and scares them enough where they retreat and they essentially let them go. Now, keep in mind, there is another soldier within them that is very important, and this is the soldier that we've been seeing for quite a bit, Ichikawa. Now, Ichikawa is the one that has good hearing, and he knows that there's planning going on. Like, this is all planned. So he tries to do his best and still attack, but at the end of the day, Tsukiyoki's group is able to escape. Now, there is fatalities, obviously, but they're able to escape. They go back to their land, and Tsukiyoki, we get about a chapter or two of basically him explaining to his retainers that he really wishes he can have fresh fish, and his retainers travel across Japan to get him fresh fish. Now, obviously, this is an episode that really doesn't really, or chapter that doesn't really add too much to the story, other than that the kids actually find out what's going on in the capital. Now, I'm going to go through a list of names because there is new characters that were introduced that will eventually be important. Now, we know that our two brothers that are the villains that took over the land are Takoji and Taroshi, right? Takoji is the guy that is the charming guy. He is the leader. He is the one that is a strong warrior, betrayed the royal family. Then we have Taroshi, who is his brother. He's very smart. He calculates everything. He knows what's going to happen essentially in battle. Now, under them, we get these three retainers, who is Shibukawa, Iwamatsu, and Uesugi. I'm butchering these names. I apologize if they're Japanese. I'm butchering these names. But these are villain retainers, and they're also group leaders, which means they have people below them, and they're also strong warriors. We don't really see them in action, but we do know that these people are not to mess with. And then not really sure if it's in the same level or above or below. We have this girl Shiba Magojiro, who is the assistant, and she is also very wise, and I kind of see her as an enemy now, and I want to know a little bit more about her, because I kind of feel like she's going to be an important key piece. Now, I'll explain to you in a bit why, because the next chapter starts the beginning of the next story, which is Mr. because there's so many names. Mr. Yorishige is the temple leader. He is in suspicion that there is people within their allies that are spies, and that's very much going to happen. And one actually does show up, and he wants a messenger, specifically Tokiyoki. Now, again, he is hiding as a messenger within Yorishige's group, and very, very small group of people know who he really is, to avoid these type of people. Now, he says, you wouldn't mind if I took Tokiyoki, 9-year-old apprentice, with me, right? I just want to know who he is more in detail. Now, this is obviously very dangerous, and what ends up happening is Shizuku, which is the female retainer of Tokiyoki, she offers to go. She's like, you wouldn't mind a little girl to accompany guys? And they kind of play the cards, and it ends up that Tokiyoki and Shizuku go with this spy. Now, this is where it gets great, because I believe it's Ichikawa who is sitting there, or it could be Sadamune. I believe it is Sadamune who is sitting in there, and basically is going to interrogate Tokiyoki and trying to get out the real information. Now, obviously, these are enemies. These are people that he shouldn't play with. So he needs to be very, very careful on what and how he does. Because if he is discovered to be, the son of the royal family, then he obviously might get killed there, or at the very least, they know who to target within Yorishige's group. Now, his retainer went, Shizuku, she stayed outside the room. She's out with the other leader who brought them. And Shizuku is obviously 100% aware of what's going on. She is in high alert. Now, this is why I think this is interesting, because we're introduced to these new warriors and enemies, and they kind of highlight this girl within the enemy side called Shiba. And Shizuku is also highlighted in this new story. So I kind of feel like at some point, these two girls are going to butt heads, and it's going to be an epic fight. It's going to be basically female warrior against female warrior, which is going to be pretty amazing. Now, I really have enjoyed this series, and I know when I talk about it, it's all about action and history, but there's a lot of comedy behind it, and I wish people would know that. I believe it's Lee Cheer who always comments on these videos. You're one of the people that loves watching these stories, and yeah, you've mentioned it a few times. It's not as heavy as a lot of people would think. There is comedy to it. After all, it is a Shonen Jump series, but there is that darkness undertone of the historical, people are dying type of style, which what I like. It has a little bit of everything. It keeps you light on your feet, but also gives you the darkness of what history really was. So yeah, overall, this series is doing well. 8 out of 10 is definitely a good rating for this series. If you're not reading it, it is on Shonen Jump, and this is up chapter 34. I will be reading more chapters today, and hopefully review some tomorrow for you guys, but we'll see for now. Thank you guys so much for watching this. If you haven't done so by now, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Give some love by commenting, liking, and sharing. And guys, like always, see you next time. Don't be strangers.